Good afternoon and welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. My article over the weekend was called The New Economy of Anger. The real-time feed is a 21st century Netflix and is both unputdownable and incendiary. From Chile, where protesters burned down the headquarters of Enel, the electricity generating company, after a proposed price increase, and a state of emergency has been imposed there. All over Latin America, from Peru to Ecuador to Haiti to Honduras, demonstrators have taken to the streets. The IMF cut the projected economic growth rate for Latin America from 1.4% to 0.6%. citing domestic policies and the US-China trade war, and clearly nose-diving economic opportunities creating tinder-dry conditions. Of course, no country is as extreme as Venezuela, where GDP is down from $350 billion in 2012 to an estimated $60 billion in 2019. People have been pushed to the edge and are taking to the streets. Paul Virilio pronounced in his book Speed and Politics, the revolutionary contingent attains its ideal form not in the place of production, but in the street, where for a moment it stops being a cog in the technical machine and itself becomes a motor, machine of attack. In other words, a producer of speed. This phenomenon about which I'm speaking is not limited to Latin America. We have recently witnessed the WhatsApp revolution in Lebanon, where a proposed tax on WhatsApp calls sent up to 17% of the Lebanese population into the street. Iraq is on a knife edge. Millions of Algerians sent the wheelchair-bound Bouteflika home not too long ago. Hong Kong remains in open rebellion and trying to shake off the crusher of bones, Xi Jinping, and his algorithmic control. The phenomenon is spreading like wildfire, in large part because of the tinder-dry conditions underfoot. Prolonged standoffs eviscerate economies, reducing opportunities and accelerate the negative feedback loop. Antonio Gramsci wrote, "The crisis consists precisely in the fact that the old is dying and the new cannot be born. In this interregnum, a great variety of morbid symptoms appear. Now is the time of monsters." This level of unhappiness is unprecedented in a time of peace, and in a time when our august financial institutions keep touting about how it has never been so good for the human race. Dr. Celestine Monga, in a recent piece, characterized the situation thus: the great discordance. The planet is filled with rage and anger. The new economy of anger and discontent levels around the world are high despite the fact that most available indicators of political and economic progress are better than they have ever been. Leadership in the 21st century has become nationalistic and jingoistic. Horizons have been narrowed. President Trump is not John F. Kennedy, ich bin ein Berliner. Xi Jinping is all about Han China. Narendra Modi is all about the Hindutva. Boris is all about Brexit. In Africa, other than the Nobel Prize winner Abiy, who else is sketching out a horizon? Today's leadership does not appreciate the humanity of all its citizens. How can they appreciate the humanity of the world? Or as Marshall McLuhan once put it, there are no passengers on the spaceship Earth, we are all crew. Richard Kapuscinski wrote, "Revolution must be distinguished from revolt, coup d'etat, palace takeover. A coup or a palace takeover may be planned, but a revolution never. Its outbreak, the hour of that outbreak, takes everyone, even those who've been striving for it, unawares. They stand amazed at the spontaneity that appears suddenly and destroys everything in its path. It demolishes so ruthlessly that in the end it may annihilate the ideals that called it into being. This is a revolution, and it is a global phenomenon." Kapuscinski also said, "If the crowd disperses, goes home, does not reassemble, we say the revolution is over. It is not over. More and more people are gathering in the streets, unless we're now going to Xinjiang the whole world." And I reference an article in Haaretz. 1 million people are jailed at China's gulags. I managed to escape. Here's what's really going on inside. Children are being taken from their parents, who are confined in concentration camps and being put in Chinese orphanages, he says. Women in the camps are receiving inoculations that make them infertile. The current modus operandi is running on empty.